Guys, good morning. Okay, so I am going to jump right into this video. Several people have inquired about my school. First of all, I'm humbled to actually talk about it. Second, though, there's no way I could type all of this. So I decided to make a video series just kind of talking about my school, why I chose to kind of step out in this direction, and hopefully to inspire more educators, especially those who are called, because I do believe that this is a God thing for me. At the end of the day, I believe in public education. I just believe that the students that I work with does not always benefit from public education the way that they should. So anyway, I am going to get out of this car and I'm going to hop in the building and we're going to chat a little bit more. Okay, so I am in the building. I have not put on any makeup. I'm gonna go and turn the heat on, beat my face just a little bit, not a lot, and then I am gonna come back to chat with you guys. Okay guys, so the name of my school is Triumph Transitions Institute. We are also known as Triumph Transition School on Facebook. We're located outside of Atlanta, Georgia, literally right outside of Atlanta, Georgia. So we have an urban context. We are accredited, and we are accredited under Schools for Special Purposes, which I serve students who have learning differences. All of my students have average or above average intellect. So I think that is really important to say. However, they have very severe deficits in academic areas. So just to kind of give you an example, it is not unheard of, unfortunately, for me to get a student who's like 13, 14 years old, who comes into my school reading at a second grade level. So once again, it's not because they can't do any better. It's just because they had not encountered the right environment with the right instruction or wherever they were attending their public schools. So the work that I do, for me, is so rewarding because, I will tell anybody that, one, I've worked harder than I've ever worked in my life, but it's also so much more rewarding, and that is because I've never ever made the academic gains that I've made with my students when I was in public schools. And I definitely would say that there is not a lot different about me other than me taking myself out of a setting that really restrained me and did not allow me to prioritize what I felt was the needful thing in helping my students to really go from like reading on a second grade level to working and reading on a fourth grade level in 1 year. And we have certainly had students who have made 2 years of gain in 1 year. That is not always the case, but we have not had a student yet who has like stayed the same in every area. We've had some pretty severe cases. We're still absolutely very small. So students are now coming in. So I think I'm gonna check back in with you guys later, okay? All right, so the time is now around 11 o'clock and I am done teaching for now. So typically I come in, I teach from 8:15 until 11 o'clock. From 11 to about 12 or 12:30 is when I kind of do more of my administrative work. And then I also teach again around like 1:15, and I do social studies. I have another full-time teacher. She does math and science. So like I said, our enrollment right now is small, which is kind of fine for me because we actually went from working with older students to now working with younger students. So we kind of changed the model a little bit just because of some of the trends that were going on here in Georgia. At one point when the school first opened, you had a whole bunch of students who weren't graduating because of one of the tests that they had implemented, which said that if you didn't pass the test, then you didn't get a high school diploma. But since that time, they have basically taken that test away, and a lot of students, whether they still probably deserve to or not, or whether they have made academic gains, they are really just kind of pushing them out of the school system. So we started focusing on like that middle school age group, with the hope that we can eventually get them back out into public schools. But once again, one of the things that we see occurring now is students in the 8th grade coming reading on the 2nd grade level. So for some of our students who really or their parents are not interested in them going back to public schools, we do offer a path for graduation. I'm also really proud to say that 100% of the students who have gone on to higher education has graduated with a college diploma. So the numbers have been small, okay, but I think it feels so awesome to say that. So we've had 2 students who have actually left here, graduated, and then gone on to a 2-year school. Both of those students completed their program. Unfortunately, one of them passed away unexpectedly due to some health problems. The other student is currently at a 4-year school in Augusta, HBCU, and he's playing basketball. I am extremely proud. Matter of fact, I am gonna attach or link a video up here of him if you want to kind of hear his story, because it is absolutely amazing. But like I said, the rest of the students that I'm currently working with now are younger students. We have some of those students, parents who are just not interested in their student going back to public schools for whatever reason. It's really important for me to also say that, unlike most private schools, particularly when you're talking about those elite schools, we do not accept anything, but our criteria is not as, what's the word that I want to use? Like it is not specific. It's still very broad. So of the students that we have here now, we do work with one who has been diagnosed with bipolar, who has come with some significant behaviors, but who has done quite well in the environment. Who she was being suspended every other day in public schools. But once again, I think when they are able to come to an environment where you are able to absorb some of the behavior, where you are able to ignore some of that behavior, it becomes a lot easier to want to deal with them, and then for that student to also to grow in confidence, because they ain't getting suspended all the time. I don't believe in power struggles. I make deals with students, or with this particular student, we make deals, because at the end of the day, I don't want to assert my authority over her, knowing that she's just gonna bucket every time. And so the more I have allowed her to have more of a say in how things look, how her education look, what my expectation is of her, the more she allows me to assert my authority. We also have 2 other kids who are on the spectrum. Then we also have kids who are SLD, specific learning disability, dyslexia, maybe a little dyscalculia. So that is really important to me, because some of the the private schools, or the elite private schools, and there's only one on our side of town, they really they don't accept all students with special needs. Just because you have an IEP, just because you might be diagnosed as SLD or dyslexia, if your IQ is not a certain level, then they are not betting on you. So I feel like, especially with a lot of the kids that I work with, when you're coming from backgrounds where, you might be impoverished, or that your parents might not be as educated, then a lot of times those IQ scores are probably not always 100% accurate, which lets me know that even though they may have an 80 IQ, they still have lots of ability that is not always being tapped into in the school setting. So what else? I'm not even sure what else to say. I don't want to make this super long. Hopefully you guys are interested in it. If you guys can kind of let me know more about some of the things that you're interested in hearing about from my school, I definitely don't mind answering questions. Okay, so I guess that means this video definitely has gone a little long. My phone just went out. But remember to subscribe. I think the next story time is going to really be on how I actually started this school. So if you guys have any other questions, make sure you drop them below.